Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our monthly show with our sheriff of Bucks County here, Fred Harran. Fred, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah,
Thank you
it's
very
a
much for
wonderful
having me.
day. The weather's been nice.
Rain's
and,
gone.
The rain is gone. This morning I woke up and it was incredible.
Yeah, they're saying rain all week though.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
little bit, not steady, but a
Right.
little bit every day.
But welcome to Behind the Badge. It's a show that we've been doing now. I've started this with Fred several years ago when he was the director of public safety in Ben Salem, and did a fantastic job. He did a lot of work with the crew down there in Ben Salem, professional organization of police officers down there.
Yeah,
And
they do a great job.
and well educated as well, thanks to Fred. But Fred moved on. He's now the sheriff of Bucks County, responsible for a lot more in this county that covers 900,000 people, close to it.
Well, it's about the census is about 600 plus, but the daytime population they're estimating about 1.2 million.
1.2 million. It's a lot. That's a lot going on. But it's a show that we're real happy that Paul Muller, who is the sponsor of this show, he understands the value of it. It's all about increasing awareness about the courageous efforts of our police, our fire, our military, and the show that we do Behind the Badge. Fred, with his experience, many years, many moons, on the police department.
Okay, enough with the years.
Yeah, enough with the years, right? Charlie, who's the president of our Philadelphia Police Fire and Correctional Officers, who's here with us today. We have a lot of good conversation. Frank and Terry Pelosi. Frank is one of our avid listeners who's standing in his garage in Levittown right now, and he's got everything tuned in. YouTube, which you can see live as well. And thanks for joining us, Frank, as always, along with many of our other listeners. But there's a lot to talk about today. Let's dive into some topics. One major concern for the entire country are these demonstrations that are going on,
Yeah.
Fred. It's okay to demonstrate, to voice your opinion, but sometimes it just goes above and beyond.
Well, I agree with you. And you watch what's going on, and it's heartbreaking. And as we talked before the show, many of these people, and this is not new. They're reporting this now on media. They're not even from there. They're just there to cause disruption and create havoc and chaos. Listen, you could demonstrate peacefully, and if you're in college, a lot of people do that. And even if you're not in college, people demonstrate and they talk about things that they don't believe in, and that's fine. That's what this country was founded on. But to the extent that's going on now is just out of control. I'm glad to see places like New York, taking back the streets, and the college is now asking for help where these places were, sanctuaries for years for folks that they just let kind of out of control. And a lot of it's being taught by the folks in the schools. And now
Yes.
that's affecting everybody, and now that the disruption has come to them, it's a different story. So I'm glad to see people finally taking action. Listen, you can protest peacefully, but you saw on the news about 2 weeks ago. I remember watching in Chicago, the roads were shut down, and people were getting out of their Ubers and cabs and walking to the airport because they had flights. Well, where does your rights end and mine begin? Who's going to reimburse me for that flight that I missed, or that meeting I couldn't get to, or if my dog was in a kennel an extra night, or whatever, or my kid had to get to school, whatever the reason, I don't care. But people don't have rights to block roads, and that actually is against the law. And law enforcement needs to clear the streets, and the elected officials needs to get behind them. And people can protest on the side of the road, hold up signs, chant whatever you want. I could care less. Obviously, you can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater, so you can't take it to that level. But you don't have the right to block the road, and you don't have the right to preclude me from going where I need to get to. So I'm glad to see cities like New York, my home city. I'm glad to see New York. And you've got an amazing leadership there right now in NYPD. And, the only social media I'm on is LinkedIn. And I know one of the deputy commissioners in charge of operations, and I forget his name, and the chief of patrol, a chief of department and a chief of patrol are on LinkedIn. And I'm sure they're on other social media sites as well, reporting to the world what they're doing. And I think that's great. So we need to keep that in mind. And if you're one of the ones that want to protest, knock yourself out. Speak your piece. but don't block my way and don't affect my day. So as far as that's concerned, and I don't mean me personally, I mean the public and everyone else that lives in this great country. So we see what's going on with whatever side of the coin you're on the Palestinian issue and the Israeli issue. I watched some of these folks protesting, never even heard of the word Palestine. So
That's true.
they're just out there to cause a ruckus. They don't really know what they're talking about. And the same thing that we see going on all over the place right now. So speak your piece, but do it peacefully, and let's not get anybody hurt. That's not what the First Amendment's about.
You're right. A lot of minor disruptions, as you pointed out.
There are major disruptions. If
well,
I'm trying to get home and someone just cost me, you think American Airlines cares less that
They
you were
could
stuck?
care less.
They could care less.
Yes,
They're not giving you your money
absolutely.
back or a free
You're right.
ticket. They could care less. The airlines have a monopoly on all this. They don't care about you one bit, the airlines. And I apologize if airline people are watching. I doubt, but too bad. Get your act together.
Get your act together. Right?
You almost had to hit the buzzer. I almost said something else. I almost said the S word, but I didn't. I controlled myself. There's no time delay for me. You should have a time delay for me. We know that already.
Yes, absolutely.
So
we
I did
spoke
not.
about that.
We did, but I didn't say the S word.
No,
I
you
said they got to get their act together. I said the A word.
Yeah.
So.
But no, you're right. There's a lot of when I say minor disruptions, people look at it as minor, but it's major if it's affecting you. And as you had just pointed out, where are you going to be helped when you're losing money for a flight or any type of a disruption that occurs? And many of these agitators have no idea what they're even talking about when it comes to Palestine, Israel. Yes, I mean, there's a lot of bitter disruptions that are occurring in these countries, and we don't want to see the calamities that are occurring, especially with children. I don't know if the terrorists could care less about children's babies, but
No, there's paid demonstrators there. There's also,
as Fred pointed out,
they're also
right.
destroying property. It's your freedom of speech doesn't give you the right to destroy property. Doesn't give you the right to hurt anybody, or impede their progress. They're really stretching that freedom of speech to the end of the world.
And the good thing here, in Bucks County is that, we've handled stuff over the years, and I can fairly confidently say that that wouldn't happen here, that the police would take back the streets. I know, the sheriff's office, one of the things that we're tasked with is civil disobedience and civil unrest that comes within the purview of the sheriff's office. And for those of you that know me, no, I wouldn't stand for that. You elected me to do a job, and whether you voted for me or not, it doesn't matter. You have the right to pass, and people are not going to be blocking streets and causing those kind of problems in Bucks County. I can assure you of that.
I was about to talk to you about that. I mean, on the campuses that we have up here, Bucks County Community College.
Well, the campuses are different, so it's private property.
Sure.
So you saw what happened in New York, Columbia, and these universities had to ask, the NYPD to come in and assist. And if somebody comes in, if of a big box store, whatever it is, Walmart, Target, whoever, Kohl's, if they want people to camp out in the middle of the store, it's not my business. They can do that because somebody owns it.
Sure.
They own it. So I wouldn't agree with their tactics, but that's fine. It's when they call and say, listen, we can't get these people out of our store, then it becomes a crime, and that's when the police would get involved.
Sure.
So the same thing with a lot of these campuses. So it wasn't until that they were asked by the police to come in. Obviously, threat of life and things like that, you don't need permission of the campus. But
no.
If someone is staging a sit-in, that's a little different because they have to be the ones that give them the authority to say that these people are not wanted here, and then it becomes a crime. It becomes trespass. It could be burglary. It could be, criminal mischief, whatever it might be in that particular state or city. So that's where the campuses are a little different. So here, if a campus allowed, private school allowed them to sit in, that would be their business until they called authorities, and then we would go in and remove them.
Yeah, and on private property and private areas, there's also that concern if they're obstructing or preventing people from leaving the entrances. So that could pose a threat.
You can't block passageways and things like that, and we've dealt with that. It's not something new to us. I mean, I dealt with it when I was in Ben Salem with protesters and things like that. About not protesters against
World
community,
affairs.
World affairs.
Yeah,
but protesters
exactly.
against this one's not using the proper labor, or this one we don't like their product. They need
Sure.
to stop selling this, or some of that stuff. So we've dealt with it. It's not new to us.
No.
So
No.
It's just the cause changes, but the acts are the same.
Yes, and many times with these demonstrations, once again, they're professional agitators that show up and they cause the trouble and the violence occurs. But our supervision needs to begin with the administration on these college campuses. And,
Well, it needs to
how they
begin with your
handle it.
parents.
And with your parents at home. Yeah, teaching you the right from wrong, and how far you can go before somebody takes it beyond.
There's a video of a mother. It's an old video. It just resurfaced again. It was during some of the George Floyd riots, and a mother recognized her. I guess a mother knows her kid.
Yeah, I
even
saw
with
that.
the mask on, and she goes and grabs him and get the
Beats
heck
him.
out of
What are you
here.
doing?
So that's a good mom.
Yeah, that's right. That's where the rearing occurs effectively.
Yeah, a lot of them kids, the parents say, "Here, you go do whatever you want. Just leave us alone."
No, absolutely. We had a memorial that was last week
Oh yeah, the police
for
memorial.
survivors.
Not this. No, it was the
It was
memorial.
memorial for the fallen,
Fallen
our police fallen.
officers. Yeah, and there was it was in Harrisburg. There was 6 officers honored. 2 of them are from the Philadelphia area. Everybody's familiar with Fitzgerald from the Temple Police Department. He was murdered.
That was a tragedy.
And Mendez down at the airport.
Yes.
And we honored them. And the governor was there, and he gave him, a nice plaque and souvenir. And it was a nice affair. It's always good to honor our fallen heroes.
Oh yeah, no
You
question.
never go wrong honoring our fallen heroes.
With that, May 20th, right here in Bucks County, is Police Memorial for the county. So it starts off in Bristol Township at 9, Ben Salem at 10, Middletown at 12, and then Newtown at I forget the church's name in Newtown, at 7.
That's a Monday, I believe.
That's a Monday. I can't remember the church's name. Wherever here, St. Andrews.
St. Andrews. Okay, that's
St.
up
Andrews.
in the Newtown Yardley area.
Yeah, right by the bypass. I think
Yes.
it's St. Andrews.
Exactly.
So,
Big church.
Yeah, it's a beautiful church, and they do a great service there. And that's at 7, and that's everybody's welcome to all of them. But the big one is if you want to sit, not stand. The other ones you're standing at.
Yeah.
So if you want to sit, St. Andrews at 7 in Newtown. It starts at 7, and clockwork starts at 7. So get there like a quarter of to get seats and everything. But it's just to see everybody march in, and it's a good turnout. We have a lot of our elected officials there, but there's no speeches from elected officials.
Okay.
It's not a political event at all.
No.
It's not one elected official talks, and everybody's been good with that forever. So you're not going to be bored with speeches. It's a very nice service. So
That's at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Yeah,
Yes,
9 a.m. Bristol, 10 a.m. Ben Salem, noon Middletown, 7 p.m. St. Andrews.
St. Andrews.
For the whole county.
These are wonderful dates to keep in mind, a way for you to thank and pay reverence for all the courageous officers who have lost their lives.
Yeah, it's listen, we're still having, as you well know, they just gave a countywide test, I think a week or two ago, and only 75 people showed up to take the test. And
Thank goodness.
I mean, when I took it, I don't know about when you took it in 1803, how many people were there? But sorry.
God,
But when
my
I took
God.
it in 86,
That was a year
86,
after me, Tom.
Right, yeah, year after year. You're right, Sal.
in 86, when I took it, there were 1,400 people
Wow.
that took the test. I mean,
Incredible.
it was a job that people wanted, and it's still. Listen, I'm not telling you two you don't know anything that you don't know. It is still. I think it's the greatest
It's
job.
a fantastic job.
I mean, I'm in my 38th year, and I'm coming to an end. I'm hoping to get elected again in November 25. I run.
Well, there's an age that you can't surpass. So you're getting close to that age.
Oh,
aren't you,
I
Frank?
am not. I just turned 60.
Did you
Although,
really? God bless you. You look great for 60.
w-
Let me tell you.
my wife just got beach tags for the shore, right? She
Right.
buys them ahead of time, so you save a couple bucks.
Right.
And so we get them in the mail, and I'm like, why are all these one color, and there's one that's a different color?
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
for you.
What do you think she did?
The
I got the
senior.
senior
The
discount.
senior
I'm like,
discount.
don't ever do that again. I do not need the senior discount yet.
Yeah.
So she's like, $4 is $4. So she saved $4 by getting me the senior discount. That was I was not happy about
No,
that.
I'm sure you weren't. It's
I was like, yo,
you're coming to the realization that
Yeah.
You're rounding second base headed to third.
she'll be there in 7 years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wait.
You're listening to Fred Harran, the Bucks County Sheriff here, behind the badge. It's a great show. We have a lot more to cover with you and a lot more details. Don't go in, and a lot more opinions that you'll be hearing for you, our listenership. WBCB 1490 and 107.3 on the FM dial. Don't go anywhere. We'll return after a few words from our sponsors.
There really is nothing like a home team advantage. That's why Team Toyota is the choice for your next vehicle purchase or service this season. With new Toyota models available for immediate delivery and over 100 certified used and pre-owned vehicles for any budget. Plus service specials to keep you on the road to victory. Shop or schedule online at teamtoyota.net or choose one of our 3 locations in Langhorne, Glen Mills, or Princeton. Are you part of the team?
Hi, this is Mayor Jeff Martin of Hamilton Township, inviting you to tune in to our monthly radio show, This Month in Hamilton. Video stream live the 4th Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. at WBCB1490.com. We will be featuring various guests from Hamilton Township to keep you up to date on what's going on in Hamilton.
WBCB is now on your FM dial at 107.3. Serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties since 1958, you can now listen to all of your BCB favorites crystal clear on 107.3 FM. A new age for WBCB on a new frequency, 107.3.
Did you fall asleep? Are you still out there? Good, because we have a lot more to share with you with Fred Harran, the Bucks County Sheriff, behind the badge. And Fred, his roots, they travel a lot further when you regress back to the shows that we did when he was the Director of Public Safety in Ben Salem, right, Charlie?
Right.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, we heard a lot of good stuff about him. I don't know how true it is, but we heard a lot
I
of
can
good stuff.
attest.
That's when I wasn't 60. I was still young.
You were still in your 40s.
Yeah, I
late
couldn't get
40s.
discounts.
No, you're right. You're right.
I was in my early 40s when I got that job.
But, you know, on a serious note, we spoke of Fred when he was the Director of Public Safety down there, but one of his big niches and his endeavors and drives was to make sure that everyone was accredited with an education, so that and there was, you know, we spent, or the council approved it all the time, that whenever there was money that needed to be spent for accreditation, for better technology, for better equipment, it was there. It was there for the Ben Salem Police Department. A great role model for all the townships to follow because of the direction that you provided there, Fred. That's off to you.
Well,
man.
you know, I you keep saying me, and I appreciate that, but
There's
I got to
no
be
I
honest.
in team.
Well, and it really, you know, it started with Frank Friel,
Yes, it did.
it started
Philadelphia Police.
Philadelphia homicide
Yeah.
captain.
We remember him.
Which wrote a book, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Breaking the mob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
breaking a mob is right.
And so it started with Frank Friel, and Frank since has passed, and you know, just a true. I don't know how do you describe Frank, but just a true mensch, if you know what mensch is.
Oh my goodness, absolutely.
Just a true mensch. And then after Frank, you know, Steve Moran really took what Frank started, and just as Emerald Lagasse would say, boom, kicked it up a notch.
He did.
In Steve's case, he kicked it up a couple notches.
Sure.
And
And
really,
you were there. You were there
I
during
was
that
with
realm.
Steve, and then it just progressed and progressed, and I just kept it going. And now you got Bill McVeigh doing
Bill's a splendid
and
job.
Bill's got tough times. You know, crime is the challenges facing law enforcement, and then you know, the crime from Philadelphia, and then, you know, so he's got some real challenges, and I always, you know, one of the. You know, Ben Salem, the officers come in contact with a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to say this without jinxing anything and saying anything bad, but they come across with some, you know, just a lot of criminal activity and some real bad guys and gals from Philadelphia. But they've been very lucky in having somebody like Joe D., the mayor there, who anything is needed, he supplies.
Absolutely.
Not just equipment and technology, but also the manpower.
Yes.
You know, when you stop a car in Ben Salem, and I would get calls, people say, why are 4 officers on that car stop? Well, I used to like to have, you know, 2 officers for every occupant of the car. So when 4 officers, and sometimes that's not enough, the bad guy is liable to think, I really don't have my chance against 4 cops.
That's right.
You know, when you have these big cities and they're short-staffed and you only have 1 cop on the car stop, the bad guy or bad guys and gals in the car will think, you know, there's 3 or 4 of us with 1 cop. Let's take our chances.
That's true.
And that doesn't happen in places like Ben Salem because there's so many cops on the street. But now, you know, there's all kinds of challenges, and you know, I don't know if you did this on purpose, but it leads into, you know, I met Maria Parker before she was mayor. She just announced her candidacy, and I'm like, man, here's a woman with some energy.
Yes, she's
and
loaded
I'm
with
like, if she becomes mayor, watch out.
Yes.
Well, she's mayor, and watch out. And you know, I think what's happening in Philadelphia the last 30 days, and I think today it kicks off May 8th, with trying to get people help in the Kensington
and
section,
Lehigh area.
getting people help and getting people into drug rehab, into rehab. I mean, listen, drugs are extremely powerful. We know that, and I think her approach is it could work. And not only could it work, but I think it could be a model for cities like New York and Chicago and L.A. and other cities in Seattle that have these same issues. And they've been meeting with the suburbs. I was on a meeting yesterday. I'm on a meeting tomorrow, you know, for any overflow, if you will. But, you know, some of these folks, everybody's agreed. Everybody from the police commissioner in Philadelphia on down.
Right.
Everybody
doing a great
agrees.
job, too.
He is doing it. Bethel's a good guy. And
Real good guy.
everybody agrees you got to get these folks help. You know, arresting is not the answer, which we've learned that over the years. And we got to get help. And then when you've, you know, reached, you know, a dead end, and there's going to be people that don't want help, you got to still get the streets back to order. So
Absolutely.
I think the mayor is doing a fantastic job. I think her 5-step approach could work as long as everything's followed through. I know in Bucks County, you know, folks that are residents of Bucks County, they're there, and we're committed here, the 3 commissioners, and people like Diane Rosati from Drug and Alcohol and Rachel Neff from Health and Human Services, and all those folks, as well as the 39-plus police chiefs, are all on board with the same messaging. So I think this is something everybody agrees on. So let's see what the next couple. I'm curious to see what the next 6 months brings to K&A and how that affects the suburbs, and if we can get, you know, some people, you know, off of drugs. And, you know, I don't know if you follow the trends, but heroin's down right now, and xylazine is the drug of choice right now. Xylazine is a animal tranquilizer.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
But humans take it at the horse strength.
Oh, jeez.
So it's funny. My dog, we have a little Chihuahua,
Right.
and he just had, everybody calm down, he had 17 teeth removed.
Oh, my
Chihuahuas
God.
are notorious for bad teeth.
Oh, my God.
Bad. So anyway, I was talking, I know the Dr. Patel, by the way, in Ben Salem, an amazing vet.
That's good to know.
Dr. Patel, off Ben
Remember
Salem
that.
Boulevard in Ben Salem. He's a great veterinarian.
Great pitch. Yeah.
And his son just opened a vegan coffee shop in Newtown. Delicious.
No
I'm not.
kidding.
I'm not a vegan guy. If you can't see below the table, you could tell I'm not a vegan guy.
Yeah.
But this is like amazing food and like vegan hot dogs. I'm like, who would have thought of such? It's
Yeah,
not tofu.
exactly.
I don't think it's tofu. But anyway, that's a different show. But Dr. Patel. So I was just talking to him. I said, "You have xylazine, you know," and he's a little dosage, a small amount. I was just talking to him about it because I like to find out things.
Sure, of course.
I hear the police side, but I want to hear really from the vets who
Yes.
use it. So, and he was explaining that, you know, what's being on the street, and he doesn't carry that amount, is the horse size, you know.
Wow.
So, and it's so many problems associated with the xylazine that we didn't see with meth, we don't see with coke, we don't see with heroin. You know, the long-lasting effects of the xylazine and the skin issues, open wounds and
Oh
stuff
my
like
God.
that, because xylazine deprives your body of the oxygen. And I'm not a doctor, so if there's any doctors watching, I might say something wrong, but this is my street version.
Right.
It deprives the body of oxygen and things like that to your skin and things like that. It's one of the side effects. So what happens when we get a cut? The doctor always says, let it air at night, right? Put a Band-Aid
Sure,
during the
let
day.
the
so
air hit it.
let it air. Xylazine, air, because oxygen gets to it to heal, to form a scab. Xylazine doesn't allow your body to do that.
Oh,
so
my
the
goodness.
slightest little cut can turn into an oh my God, can turn into a seeping, gazing, humongous wound, open wound on your body. So I don't get it.
It's just horrible.
The use of some of this stuff, but
Yeah.
so that's what we're faced with now. And the heroin, all the overdoses now, they're finding large traces of xylazine. This is a depressant, and it does that kind of work like heroin, but better, I guess, if you're using it to abuse it. I don't know.
We'll never know.
So we don't know, and because I'm not taking it. And
no, absolutely.
I mean, we talked about that on the show years ago when the doctor gave me Percocet and Oxy and Vicodin because I was allergic. I think I wound up with Vicodin for the surgery, and
sure.
I was scared to death to take the Vicodin. Doctor's like, you got to take it.
You have to take it.
So I took it for 4 days, and then Motrin 800 milligrams. After that, it worked.
God.
Ibuprofen. So anyway. So the drugs. So let's see what Sherelle Parker does. Let's see what the mayor does, and Commissioner Bethel working with all his staff. I think it could work.
No, she took this task, this burden on, and the responsibility. But the more that you focus, that the administration, with her guidance and her direction, the more that she focuses on an area. Oh, I do.
I like her. You know what? I don't know if I'm going to be the first one to say it, but I wouldn't mind seeing her if she keeps on the path she's doing, right to the White House.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Mayor, I don't know if you're listening to me or not, but
we're going to try and bring her on the show.
Let me know, Mayor. I'll help you. I'd love to see you get to the White House, Mayor.
Yes.
But
one step at a time. It's gradual, right? But you're in a major city right now. Let's
first, Joey D. I'm sorry, but I don't think he wants it.
Joey D. He'll be there to support Mayor Parker.
He would. He was good friends with Mayor Nutter.
Yeah.
Whose wife lived. I don't know if she still lives in Ben Salem. Her family is from Ben Salem. They used to eat a lot of times in Ben Salem. Mayor Nutter. But, I like what she's doing. If she could pull this off, this could be the model for America.
Well, she approached City Council, and that $2 billion budget, $400 million, I believe, don't hold me to that, that's just my what I recall hearing, is going to be applied for public safety. So hopefully it'll be the hiring of more police officers, which we are in dire need of. Yeah. And the technology.
The problem with just the blanket hiring and what we can't get police officers. That's the problem, and you cannot drop your standards.
No,
because
they tried that. Didn't
that's
work.
when you have. Listen, you don't. The doctor didn't do such a good job in removing that. That lung, so we're going to hire him anyway because we're short doctors. We don't.
That's no good.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No,
so
that's a good.
You can't lower your standards. I don't know. I mean, a lot of it is. I think. Listen, this new generation. They don't want to work the extra hours. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Their time off is more precious than the money. So I don't know how you satisfy the needs of the world by needing police. How you satisfy this generation that doesn't really want to put the hours in, would like money but don't want all the overtime. I mean, you can make a lot of money in law enforcement. There's a ton of overtime.
I'm sure
but
there is.
You got to put the hours in.
Yeah, you do.
So the money is not just salary, but the salaries. Listen, they're good salaries.
Right. Of course they are.
They're good salaries, and many departments are good salaries. I mean, some are still pretty low, I think, or need to be brought up. But there's got to listen. This is above my expertise, human resources. But you need to be able to find a way to balance. And for those that say, to heck with it, this is what we're doing, you got to adjust with the times.
You do.
We realize the younger generation does not like to fill out paper applications. So we could have said, too bad, you want this job, come in and fill out a paper application. No, we went online and created online applications because you got to change with the times because the times aren't going to change with you. You have to change with them.
Yes,
so
exactly.
If anybody thinks in management or bosses out there that you can just change the time, it's time to retire and hang it up and let somebody else take over your job. You have to adapt, and you have to change with the times. You want to sit in the corner and hold your breath and take your bat and ball and go home, knock yourself out, but your team's going to lose.
One of the we're going to take a quick station break in a moment, but before we move to that, to your point, the preventives that a lot of our professionals out there, our youth, that are thinking and they're envisioning being a police officer. It begins with how they perceive how they're handled when they become a police officer. The administration, for example, the respect that our civilians provide. I think it needs to turn even more, much more, where there is respect given and shown to the police officers because they're not getting that respect. They're being ridiculed and looked upon all the time.
I think the majority of the public, the law-abiding citizens are love the police. You've got a lot of vocal group, the criminals and the agitators that we talked about at the top of the show that come out against for one reason or another. Like you watch these protesters, why are you getting in the cop's face? He or she is there to do a job. They'd rather be home with their family, watching TV and having dinner. They don't want to be in there having you yell and curse and spit at them and throw things. That is not my idea of fun. So to think that they're there because they want to be bullies is not what's happening. So I think you're right. You have to have people, and you have to back them up.
You do. You need to have that support so that these people coming in to take that position, protecting life and property, and getting the training that they need and the skills that they possess. It's important. It's very important for us to understand that it begins with our administration and society in itself.
Yep.
Respecting and understanding how important it is to have our officers out there. We'll return after a few moments from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere. We'll return after a couple minutes.
There really is nothing like a home team advantage. That's why Team Toyota is the choice for your next vehicle purchase or service this season. With new Toyota models available for immediate delivery and over 100 certified used and pre-owned vehicles for any budget. Plus service specials to keep you on the road to victory. Shop or schedule online at teamtoyota.net or choose one of our 3 locations in Langhorne, Glen Mills, or Princeton. Are you part of the team?
Are you a parrot head?
Away again in Margarita.
Not that kind. That's more like it. If you're this kind of parrot head, don't forget to check out the Denny O Polka Show every Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon right here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
WBCB is now on your FM dial at 107.3. Serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties since 1958, you can now listen to all of your BCB favorites crystal clear on 107.3 FM. A new age for WBCB on a new frequency, 107.3.
We're back with Behind the Badge here with with my good friend and yours as well, our sheriff of Bucks County, Fred Harran, and we're discussing some important topics. Charlie, over here to my left, to your right, the president of our retired police, fire, and correctional officers. Perspective is important, and the opinions that our professionals provide to you, hopefully it'll gravitate to a level where people understand there's a lot of truth that's coming out in volumes with what you're saying. Very important topic. I want to move on to another one, is the Border Patrol over out in California and Texas and Arizona. There's so much problem there that we talk about it each and every day, but it's only getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Fred, you were down there. Tell us about it.
So back in February, I think, I was in Washington, D.C., for a meeting. I'm on a technology committee for the National Association of Sheriffs. So one of the other committees was Border Security. So after my meeting, I went over to the Border Security. I didn't know what a Border Security meeting at the time. It was just a room that was packed, and they were doing a presentation. And I'm like, well, so something's got to be semi-interesting. I mean, the bodies were coming out of the room.
Holy cow.
So I snuck in, and it was a presentation by sheriffs that have communities on the border of the United States, mainly Texas and Arizona, New Mexico.
So there's 3 states, not to interrupt you.
There's, I think, 4 states, right?
4 states that encompass the
Texas,
border.
Arizona, New Mexico, and California.
California, okay.
California. I think there's 4 states.
Okay.
So, and that's the southern border, obviously our Canadian friends as well. But so I snuck in and listened, and I listened to this PowerPoint, and the one thing that caught my attention was a lot of the stuff I know or see from television and what I know.
Sure.
But they were talking about guns being trafficked from the United States to Mexico, because you can't legally own a weapon in Mexico. So the guns coming out of the U.S., going to Mexico, coming back with the cartels. So I was really interested. So I talked to the guy afterwards, the sheriff from it was Cochise County, which is in Arizona, where the OK Corral is.
Okay.
For those of you,
Great area
yeah.
to explore down there.
where the
Some
OK
history.
Corral is and that area. So I think it was the OK Corral. And
Wide Earp
yeah,
days.
I think it was that. So I went. He said, "Hey, forget this. Come on down
Sure.
and bring some guys with you, and we'll be more than happy to give you a up and close view of what's going on."
That's smart. Did you bring a few of your
We did.
troops?
We went with 4 other police chiefs. We went down to Cochise County, and I can't go into details because we're doing the first presentation next Tuesday.
Okay.
So
Where's the presentation?
The presentation is just for the police chiefs right
Okay.
now. So the plans are we're doing it at our meeting, which actually you could come. I think
would
you
like
remember.
to do that.
So
yes.
you could come. It's next Tuesday if you want to come.
Okay.
I'll tell you off camera
Absolutely.
where
That's
it
good.
is and the time. So
I-
next Tuesday.
I will be there.
And then we're going to do one for elected officials, whoever
Okay.
wants to come and hear it. And then we're going to open it up to the public. We're going to get a big forum and do it publicly. Anybody that wants to come
Beautiful.
and hear what we heard and hear and see what we saw. We took a lot of pictures and stuff of different things. We rode with them and the criminal interdiction team. So we went down and they really were talking a lot about the human trafficking, the cartels, and what I thought was interesting, the folks that we see on TV that Fox and CNN show, the large caravans of people, they call them give-ups. And I'm like, well, what's a give-up? And they're like, those are the folks that they come, and then they pull all the border agents and all the people off the border to go process these folks, and then the borders are left wide open.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's when the cartels go to work.
Sure they do.
And I'm like, wow. And we saw cartel lookouts, and we were right on the border where the wall is. So I found it interesting. I didn't know that Barack Obama actually started the wall. So
I
they showed
wasn't
us
aware
the
of that.
Obama wall, the Trump wall, and then it stops. The Trump wall stops, and then that's when Joe Biden got in and stopped the wall from being any further, and then all the materials laying on the ground rusting away. Because it was all
Incredible.
delivered, the government paid for it, it's all laying there.
All waste.
And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I thought it was incredibly interesting. And, these guys, these sheriffs, this is the real deal.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
we face drugs and the issues that we face here and people detoxing. I mean, these people,
Wartime.
these sheriffs are on the line.
Yeah.
They are true warriors, and they are fighting, for people that don't care about life. The videos that I had gotten from them, from their body camera and in-car camera of pursuits, and the cartels are told to run, drive erratic, so the cops won't, bother you and stop you when you get into a pursuit. I'm like, that's crazy. And people dying in these cars, people dying in the desert, because the cartels don't care. They get them across the border, and then they're, on their own to cross the desert by themselves. It looks like a, scene from a bad movie.
My goodness.
And the drugs, and 80% of our drugs are coming in from the Mexican border, coming from China to Mexico into the United States. So if you don't think that border security works, I don't know where you're living.
Yeah, exactly.
But border security would truly cut down, and it affects everything. It affects your insurance payment on your house. Because who do you think? You think State Farm is out if your house gets burglarized? No, they're putting it in and your house gets burglarized because somebody's supporting the drug habit. And they're supporting the drug habit because they get the drugs from Mexico, who gets it from China. So, it's a domino.
It's a horrible path.
And
it really is.
I just think I was really enlightened to the degree of the problem. From my work, in my prior job in Ben Salem, I believed in immigration policies and stuff.
Of course.
Some of the stuff that we did there, and but they're fighting a real war down there, and they're stopping cars with some real desperados in there. And these guys, we rode with them for a couple hours a night. We were out with them till about 9:30 at night on interdiction stops, and then we were on the border with U.S. Border Patrol and these deputies.
Explain the interdiction details for our listeners.
So there's 2 main arteries that go from this county. This county's got about 87 miles of U.S. border.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's a
there's
big stretch.
2 main arteries, and they come across the border into these towns, and they don't stay in these towns. Their next point is Phoenix. And then from Phoenix, the folks that are here in the country illegally or undocumented, whatever the term you want to use, I could care less, they then go from Phoenix and then they're distributed, and I mean distributed. These are people that owe their lives to the cartels now.
Wow.
So it's not like you just, they don't have $1,000 cash. So they come over here and then they got to pay the cartels. And do you think your debt ever gets paid to the cartels? Let me think about that. Never.
Never.
So then from Phoenix, the cartels shoot them across the U.S. to places like Chicago, Miami, New York, Philadelphia, California, all these places. And there's a ton that come across. They were telling me about this one group, and they set up in Brooklyn, New York. And they get them going from Phoenix, and their flights are out to New York. And they've interviewed people, and they go to Brooklyn. Why? I don't know.
How in the world are they getting on fly? Or they can't be flying, are they?
I guess they're on ground trips. They can't fly
flying.
because you need a picture
You need
ID,
a picture
I guess.
ID, right.
But who the heck knows?
Right.
So that's what's happening.
And for how long? This has been going on for years.
For years. And,
my God.
women are being assaulted, sexually assaulted, kids.
The trafficking and all that.
Trafficked. It's just unbelievable. We have pictures of, clothes on the fence, on the barbed wire fence, people, and you can see where they slide down the poles, getting across the border. It is quite to see it firsthand. I never thought I'd be on the border like that to see.
What an experience.
It was really a unique opportunity,
Yes.
and these guys and gals that are there are doing an amazing job, and they're not making a lot of money. They're not making a lot of money, and
The sheriff?
the sheriff's out there,
No.
and but the housing's we were talking about the housing. The housing's a lot cheaper than it is here.
Of course.
But it's a beautiful country. But the folks, I said, we asked them, do you worry about the folks staying here? They say they don't stay here. They cross over here. They got to get to Phoenix. So you talk about the interdiction. So there's two main arteries that go from the border to Phoenix,
Right.
and they spend a lot of time doing interdiction stops. And the legislators have been very, I guess, generous with the laws, I guess. So it was quite interesting.
For our listeners to understand that this has been going on for years, not days, weeks, months, but years. The infiltration of the human trafficking, the disrespect that occurs, and more importantly, the drugs that are coming across, and how about the ammunition and
Guns,
the
drugs,
and all.
people.
They're setting up. They're setting up in our own country.
Illegal, criminal activity groups. This is not what people think. Some in those caravans coming for a better way of life, I'm sure. But the ones coming across the other way, they think they're coming for a better way of life, but they're indebted to the cartels forever.
Yeah.
And it's not the boys' club. You can't just jump out whenever you want.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah, more to come on that. But we're going to do a public presentation eventually. But we do want to do it for the police departments first, the chiefs, and then elected officials and so forth. So.
This is an incredible topic.
Yeah, it's a hot topic right now.
Yes, it is.
And listen, it should be. And I was one to what does the border have to do with me here in Bucks County? It has a lot. And that's when I saw the meeting, and I saw the pictures of the guns being trafficked. The nexus from Pennsylvania is one of the states down to the border and then back across. This is a real problem. This is a real issue, and we need to tighten things up a little bit.
I'll say, to say the least, to minimize it. That's minimizing it, but obviously all of these people that have gotten through. I mean, obviously there has been confiscation of drugs and confiscation of the ammunition and the guns that are coming through, but how about the ones that are not caught?
Yeah.
And they're setting up these pockets.
Well, the
in
numbers
our country.
of those that are not caught far surpass the ones that are caught.
That are
Not to mention how much it's costing the government for these people.
Absolutely. They each get
your tax dollars are being just washed down the drain.
We talked about that on the show, what it kills us here in Bucks County, what our medical bills are for prisoners.
Right.
It's the best medical coverage you can get going to jail.
My God.
There's no
Anything
co-pays,
you need.
and you get any specialist. You don't have to call and fight with your insurance company on the phone for 20 hours. You need to go to this doctor, and they're telling you no. You get the best doctors, no co-pays. You don't pay for prescriptions. You don't pay for
our tax dollars.
It's the system we got, and I don't know.
How do you fight it? How do you manage it? I mean, it's very difficult. It is. It's
There
a
are-
humanity situation.
There are ways, but I don't know if I could say it. I might not get reelected
Yeah,
if,
it may
I,
not.
if I say, or maybe I will get reelected. I don't know.
You should be reelected.
I
But it's the truth. I mean, it's crazy. They should be held accountable, these prisoners, for the
Accountability. What does that mean?
Yes, there isn't. That word should be taken out of the dictionary. It's no longer around, for crying out loud. You're listening to Fred Harran, the sheriff of Bucks County here with Behind the Badge. Once again, topics that we come up with that you should be finding very interesting, because it's all humanity facts that are occurring in this country, right, Charlie?
Yeah, I would have liked to went down to Arizona with them.
Oh my God, I cannot wait till
That way.
Tuesday so I can make this meeting
Yeah.
as well, so that we can find a little more out and we can share some
Yeah.
things from time to time with our listeners out there. We're going to take a quick pause and back with Fred Harran, Charlie Esposito, and myself, Tom Mellon, Behind the Badge, WBCB Radio. Don't go anywhere.
There really is nothing like a home team advantage. That's why Team Toyota is the choice for your next vehicle purchase or service this season. With new Toyota models available for immediate delivery and over 100 certified used and pre-owned vehicles for any budget. Plus service specials to keep you on the road to victory. Shop or schedule online at teamtoyota.net or choose one of our 3 locations in Langhorne, Glen Mills, or Princeton. Are you part of the team?
Opinions matter, and so does yours. Hi, I'm Joe Fabrizi, inviting you to join us every Monday at 1 p.m. for Opinions Matter, right here on 1490 AM WBCB. Opinions Matter is now live streamed at WBCB1490.com. We want to hear from you, because your opinion does matter.
Hey, this is Jonesy. Kick off your Thursday and Friday evenings in style. Join me for an eclectic freeform mix of the hits and beyond. It's a happening, a musical journey. It's the Glenn Jones Radio Experience, right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, Thursday and Friday, 5 to 6 p.m., directly following the legendary Jerry Blavitt. Radio, the way it ought to be.
I don't think there's any left for sale. They're all done.
They're probably all. That's a drop in the
You're
bucket.
asking a lot of information here.
That's for sure. But wait a minute, we're back on the air. Here we are. Yes, welcome back to Behind the Badge with Fred Harran, our sheriff, and a person that we certainly honor to be here at all of our shows, because it's important to hear what's going on in the county. And Fred's the man who can
I don't know about
disseminate all that information to
Treasure
you.
chest of information.
That's
why we
it,
like
a
'em.
plethora
A
of
plethora, yeah.
Yes, and it's not perfunctory knowledge;
No.
it's important
Perfunctory.
knowledge. You like that?
Yeah.
That's a new word for the.
I looked it up
SAT.
last time you used
You
it.
did?
Yeah. No.
I didn't know I've ever used it, but
You did
there you
use
go.
it once before. I had to leave here and look it up. I felt like an idiot.
Yeah, plethora of perfunctory knowledge.
Plethora I knew.
I got that from, and I'll just share this real quick with you. Tommy Woodishek, who played for the Eagles back in the '60s, all pro, and him and I were we worked in the casino industry for many years, and he hit me with that one day. I was sharing some information with him. He says, "You know, you're a plethora of perfunctory knowledge," and I had to do the same thing you did. Let me look that word up. You know. It's.
I'm afraid to look some of the words up. They call me.
Synonymous to mundane, you know, not really important. But at any rate, we're back. We want to talk about some other topics before the 12 or 10 or 11 minutes go, and you're on your way out to other business
I got to be
meetings.
in Pipersville by 10 of 12.
10
So
to 12. And your schedule goes to 8 o'clock tonight.
8 tonight. I got my last thing is over at 8 tonight.
You have a happy wife at home. She's just
I'm never home,
Yes,
so
you know.
yeah, that makes her very happy.
right, exactly. When you're home, it's great. It's honeymooning all over again.
I don't know about that.
You don't know about that, right?
I don't know what she would say.
Well, let's talk about the Police Athletic League now
Yeah.
that it's a new proponent of a new addition to the schedule that you have. As
So
a
yeah,
sheriff.
we're getting that up and running. We're starting off with boxing. Will be our first PAL event. So we just joined the National PAL. Just got certified through them, registered through them, if you will. And the only other PAL in Bucks County is Ben Salem.
Ben Salem, sure.
But Ben Salem just stays in Ben Salem.
Sure.
So I wanted to take that, what we did in Ben Salem back when Steve Moran was director, or I think actually Frank Friel was director. I'm sorry, when we
Sure.
started the first PAL back when Frank was director, and I wanted to take it countywide. So we're starting off in Lower Bucks County. We're starting off in Bristol Borough.
That's
We've
fantastic.
partnered with a young man. I say young because he's under 50, and we already talked about our ages.
Yes, that's
So
for sure.
Jose, from the owner and operator of Keystone Boxing
Okay.
in Bristol Borough. Great.
Where's he located in Bristol?
It's right off of. I think it's Wood Street, Wood or
Okay.
Pond.
Okay.
Right off of Mill Street in Bristol Borough. We were out walking one day, my wife and I, and we walk and cut. We like to see different things all the time.
Of course.
And I'm like, is that a boxing ring in there? So I stuck my head in. I'm like, holy smokes!
It is.
They were boxing, and she said, why don't you go in, try it out? I'm like, well, I'm gonna get my butt kicked.
Yeah, exactly. You and me
So
both.
I met with my guys that do some of the community stuff, and we met with Jose, and we're on to formalizing a PAL, 2 different age groups. And I don't have the PAL information with me, so I don't want to missay anything. But you can call the sheriff's office or email me, whatever, and get some more information. But we're going to be starting off in Lower Bucks County with the kids, because I didn't think people from Quakertown are not going to travel to Bristol Borough to put their kids in a boxing. But this will be free to the kids, no charge. And they'll get equipment and shirts and boxing lessons,
boxing gloves,
self-esteem. Well, the boxing, I don't know if the boxing gloves are theirs to keep. I think for right now it's going to be borrowed, and then we clean them out in between.
Of course.
So, but I think they'll have a shirt and things like that.
Nice.
And what was I saying? And we're gonna hopefully escalate it into a tournament. We've had some fundraisers right now. This is no tax dollars. This is none of your. We did that in Bensalem. No tax money.
Not at all.
So this is all on donations. I'm working on hopefully a bank today. I'm supposed to give us a nice sum of money. So I'm hoping that works out. And we're looking for any donations, $25 on up.
What's the phone number that people, if they're listening, can call in?
Oh God, I don't.
Would it be the sheriff's department?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my email. I don't know if it's F.A. Harran, Harran, F.A. Harran, Harran at buckscounty.gov, buckscounty.gov, and you can just email me if you're interested. I don't know if you can put that on a screen. Can you guys put that on a trailer or anything?
We probably could, Bree, right?
So if they could put that, so the best way is to email me, and if you want to do a donation, we would love it. And if you do a nice large donation, I think if you go on our website too, on the Bucks County Sheriff's or on our Facebook, the information is all on there too. And you could do different type of, we made it like a deputy donation, a sergeant, that clever thing.
Exactly,
and
that's nice.
So you could do that, and then we'll certainly would recognize you, and depending on your donation, put you on some of the merch, and give you fair shout-outs and social media and everything like that. So
of course.
The bottom line is for the kids. This is 100%. The money goes back towards the kids. There's no administrative cost. There's no money to the county. There's nothing. This is 100% goes to the kids. And we're going to start boxing. I want to start small. In Bensalem, we started with basketball just during the summer. Now Bensalem runs it 12 months a year.
Okay.
And my goal is here in the county to run 12 months a year. And I'm going to actually propose it to the police chief. I already talked to Joe Moores, who's the chief in Bristol Borough.
Bristol Borough, yeah.
Maybe we get him on the show because they're doing some great things in Bristol Borough.
Yeah, let's bring him on.
Sorry, Joe, I just volunteered you. But
we'll see you soon, Joe.
I'm going to put it out to the chiefs on Tuesday at the meeting. That if anybody wants to partner, with their town, we'll do events and we'll partner with you and we'll do the fundraising and do all that, because I just think it's very important. And as I said, when I first became sheriff, the whole idea is to assist and supplement local law enforcement, not to be, the police in that town, but just to assist them wherever possible. And I think this is something a lot of towns just don't do because they think it's too much to deal with. But I think it's very important. I think we can do it and make it a Bucks County PAL. So that's where we are.
Idea.
But like everything else, you need money. This doesn't happen free. I'm not using tax money. I'm not asking for tax money. I haven't broached this with anybody, commissioners or anything like that, nor would I, because it's not the right thing to do.
Of course.
So it's all on donations. And, we got a couple bucks so far.
Yeah,
and
the community needs to get involved.
And to do a countywide one, I need to get into the 6-digit field to really run a good operation.
What are the ages, Fred, that you're looking for with children? Because I know that listeners are probably thinking of that right now.
I think we have.
Yeah.
9, 10, 11, and 12, 13, and 14 are the two groups that we're gearing to right now. Like I said, we don't have a lot of money, so it can't be this huge project. But listen, when we started in 93 in Bensalem, 92, it was a very limited. We started off with like 60, 70 kids for 2 months at a very minimal cost. So now it's a major organization within Bensalem, and I want to do that here with the sheriff's office as long as I can. So
I think that's great.
I think it's important. And
it's very important.
PAL is one of the best organizations in this country.
So if you guys know anybody that wants to, the problem with all of us is that we got our hands in a bunch of
projects.
And, people call me, can you help us fundraise for this or
we
that?
Get that a lot, too.
And how can I, because I've got my own projects I'm trying to, so
that's true.
I just, but there's so many great organizations, out there. Right now, you got guys like, John, Appledorn and Santo from the Citizens Crime Commission. They do and they're Johnny Appledorn and Santo. I can never pronounce his name. Bada Bing.
Appledorn and Santo. Yeah.
Santo Bada Bing.
Bada Bing.
Those guys, Monte Carlo,
yeah.
Monte Cavo. I can never pronounce Santo. I'm sorry. I butcher your last name. But Johnny Apples and Santo, they got a great organization there with the Crime Commission, helping to give out giving out rewards for people that turn in bad guys and gals. So that's important. So we just got a couple bucks for them.
Their luncheon is 22nd of May.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Charlie and I will be going down there. You'll be there.
We'll be there.
Good.
Yep, I'll be there.
That'll be a great event downtown Philadelphia.
It's a great, and I think Cheryl Parker is the keynote.
Yes, she is.
So I'm looking forward to hearing her.
We'll grab her and talk to her about bringing her on our show.
That'd be great.
Wouldn't it be good?
She's good.
Yeah,
but
we're working on Bethel right now.
And Bethel as well.
Well, maybe he'll come with her.
Bring both.
So so there's a million organizations. So I know it's hard, but if anybody knows anybody that, we'll take a $100 donation. It doesn't have to be 10,000.
Whatever it may be, right?
But I will take 10,000.
Yeah.
So, but
we're not bashful.
No, we're not. But 100 here, 100 there.
Yeah.
Gets us to where we got to go. So it's another great organization. And then we got our Bucks County Police Chiefs golf outing coming up.
There it is, Wednesday, October the 16th.
So that's another one. So I run that for the Bucks County Police Chiefs.
Yeah, we'll have to bring it up a little later.
Yeah, we will. We will. We'll bring it up.
The problem
again.
with that one, it sells out. I'll be sold out in 30 days.
You will.
Really?
You will.
Just on foursomes, but
great.
I still take. I always hold foursome. I always hold about half a dozen foursomes for the big sponsorships. So we have a $3,000 sponsorship and a title sponsorship for $3,000, another sponsorship for $2,500. So I need about 10 of those. Really gets me into a good area. I make no money on the foursome. You run golf outings.
Absolutely.
You make no money on. It's a wash. It's a push on the foursome. I make no money on that.
No.
But
the signs are good.
The whole
signs, $200 for a whole spot. If I can get
it.
30, 40 of those extra that I normally get,
that helps us.
That'll push me right over the edge.
It will.
So that's $200. People, businesses should be able to afford that. And,
absolutely.
You get and that goes all for training in Bucks County.
That's all.
For leadership training. That's what that goes for.
For a good cause. Absolutely.
A lot of the small departments don't have any budget for training, and you can't put a price on that.
No, that's true. That's true.
We can't all be geniuses like us.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Well, you know what, Fred? We're towards the end here already. Can you believe it? 1 minute left.
I can't.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. We always talk about different topics, and we never can cover everything.
I want to give a quick shout-out for the survivors next Sunday for the FOP.
Next Sunday at the FOP Lodge 5.
There's the survivors. All the money goes towards the families.
Absolutely.
Not Mother's Day, a week from Mother's Day.
A week from Mother's Day.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's at the FOP Lodge 5. $40 a ticket, well spent. Come out and enjoy. The camaraderie is fantastic. And you're supporting a good cause. All those proceeds go for education. And
can you send me information on that? I'll get some tickets and send some people.
Freddie. Thank you. Yeah,
we'll do that. What time is it on Sunday?
I think it's 3 to 7, if I'm not mistaken.
No, earlier than that.
Even earlier than that?
I'll have Denise email you
We'll give you a call.
The flyer.
Yes, but I believe it's
the 19th.
I believe it's 3 to 7. Something's telling me that, but near.
Send me that, will you?
I will, Freddie.
We'll buy some tickets. Yeah, I'd love to come down.
That'll be great.
Not in uniform, right? It's plain clothes.
No, plain clothes. Just kick back a little
Casual.
bit, relax.
Yeah, they have
coalesce a little.
Several bands come and.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Local groups.
Well, that's a wrap today, and I want to thank our listeners. I want to thank our sponsor, Paul Muller, once again. Freddie's getting his glasses
I got to be in Pipersville by 10 of 12.
10 of 12.
I hope there's no troopers watching.
No, but yeah, that's for sure. We always abide by the laws.
Always.
Come on now.
3 of them at breakfast.
Absolutely.
You got one of them.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us today, Behind the Badge. You can watch us the second Wednesday of every month, Behind the Badge, and then we have Justice for All with Jennifer Shorn, our district attorney. That's a wrap for now. As I say at the end of all my shows, all of you, thank you for listening. Please remember, be safe, stay well. Don't text while you drive. Jerry, I'm coming home to walk the dog. And most importantly, God bless America.